This guy is such an inspiration. You're going to feel his energy. I promise you that. He has such a good story. I'm just going to welcome Branden Collinsworth.
First and foremost, give it up for Mark Grooves and the whole Motu staff. Wow. It's truly an honor to be here in front of you. And thank you for showing up. It takes courage to show up. It takes courage to do the work. It takes courage to step into our truths and truly shine our lights. So a little bit about me. I am from Las Vegas. Click, click, click. There we go. So Las Vegas, that's where I was born and raised. When a lot of people hear about Las Vegas, they think of the Strip, they think of casinos, they think of our Golden Knights who just almost took the Stanley Cup, but didn't. And that's it. Like, Vegas is Vegas. But a lot of people don't realize that the east side of Las Vegas is one of the hardest places to grow up in the nation. Highest dropout rates, drugs, alcohol. And that's where I grew up. I grew up in a housing project on the east side of Las Vegas. It was me, my mom, and my little sister. Welfare, WIC, broken dreams, and a lot of my friends dying, going to jail, or ending up in jobs they hated to work at. And when I was 8 years old, I remember my mom woke me up at about 6 in the morning. And she said, "Branden, I need your help." So I went outside. She loaded my little sister in the bike seat on her bike. I jumped on my bike. We started riding. The ride was about 2 miles, and I remember it was so cold outside that my fingers started to freeze. So we rolled up to this local supermarket called Albertsons, and when we got there, we went around the back, and we posted up. About 10 minutes later, a guy opened the back door. He took these 2 trash bags, he threw them into the trash can, and then my mom looked at me, and she gave me a little nod, and I knew what I had to do. So I ran over to the trash can, I jumped over, grabbed the bags, threw them out, took them back over to my mom, and we knew that we were going to eat for that week. So that really defined my childhood. At that time, I really started to understand that I was poor because my friends weren't having to pull food out of trash cans, and my friends had hot water in the winter and heat, and my friends weren't having to sleep on random park benches just to know that they had a safe place to sleep. And so my childhood was really defined by survival. I got to high school, and when my friends were worried about homecoming and playing sports and being part of this club, I was worried about me and my family having enough food to eat. So when I was 16 years old, I dropped out of high school and started running the streets. And this downward spiral started to happen. Got caught up in the drugs, got caught up in the alcohol, got caught up in chasing girls. My friends, one by one, falling off, getting eaten up by the system. And I was on that path as well. And 18 years old, 2 years after that, of just floating in this deep, dark despair, I found myself sitting at a bus stop on the east side of Las Vegas. There's a local hotel called Sam's Town. And Sam's Town, has anybody here been to Las Vegas? Yeah. Okay, do you know where Sam's Town is? Probably not. It's on the east side, but it's this gloomy place. In front of it, there's check cashing places and these liquor stores, and people kind of walk around like the fear of the Walking Dead. And I remember sitting at that bus stop, and I looked over to my left, and there was a guy that kind of looked like me. He was about 45 years old, light-skinned dude, but there was no life in his eyes. And at that time, I'd never left the east side of Las Vegas, like ever. And for those that have been to Vegas, you know it's surrounded by mountains. Those mountains were kind of like my prison. Those mountains like caged me in. And I felt like I would never get out unless I made some really big changes in my life. So that night, sitting there, this aha moment came to me. Call it Allah, call it God, call it Krishna, call it the universe. And it told me if I really committed to being a better man, if I really committed to changing my life, if I really committed to doing something different, I'll be able to pull myself out of poverty, pull myself out of generational poverty, and take my life to another level. Now at that time, I didn't know what the next step was, but my mom did give me one gift, and that was she gave me the love of reading. So about 5 years old, she taught me how to read. And at that night, I decided that the only way I was going to be able to change my whole entire life was I needed to start reading. So I picked up one book. It was Who Moved My Cheese. Anybody read that? Who Moved My Cheese was the first book I read. One book turned to 10 books, 10 books turned to 100 books, 100 books turned to 1,000 books. And slowly I saw my whole entire life start to change. I went from being a high school dropout discarded by the system to eventually getting my master's degree from the University of Pennsylvania, first graduate. I went from being broke, poor, homeless, not even able to survive, to a successful entrepreneur with companies in Vegas, Peru, and soon to be Bali. So things are moving. I went from a taker, literally taking from the system, to a passionate philanthropist. I went from not ever leaving Vegas to the last 4 years traveling over to 50 countries plus, helping, inspiring, touching people and touching lives. But most importantly, my journey taught me something really special, and I have a chip on my shoulder, and it really fuels a lot of what I do in my life. And this chip is basically that it showed me that in each one of us, we have something special. And oftentimes, society, our schools, our religion, they kill those lights in us. They dim those lights down in us. And so this passion of mine, this chip on my shoulder, is really to help inspire people to truly step into their power, full force, own their gifts, and really share it with the world. So today what I want to talk to you about, and I'm a human performance coach, I work with Nike, all this, that's a whole different story. So oftentimes that deals with the hardware. What I want to talk today is about the software. And I want to give you all 5 principles that I learned on my journey from the streets to what I would call now the skies. So the first one is be you. Be you unapologetically, unforgivingly. There's this incredible museum in Paris called the Louvre. And every day, thousands of people go to see one painting. That one right there. The Mona Lisa. We place so much value on the rare. We place so much value on these things. And oftentimes, we lose sight of the value that we are. So the fact, undeniable fact, each one of us is one of one. Never has been, never will be again. Miraculousness. Can y'all feel into that for a second? Miraculousness. Never has been, never will be again. That means the things that call us, the things that we feel, those whispers of inspiration, those are real. Emerson has a quote. He says that there's nothing capricious in nature. The implanting of a desire means that its gratification is in the constitution, the chemistry of the creature that feels it. So those things that push at us, those nudges, those God winks, those are real. And when we start to honor them, when we start to honor our path, when we start to honor our power and our presence, that's when true magic comes to life. As a kid, X-Men was my favorite thing in the whole entire world. Like, that was my thing. And why I like the X-Men so much is you had these individuals with extraordinary powers, and each one of them was super by uniquely owning their own stuff. Wolverine wasn't trying to be Professor Xavier. Professor Xavier wasn't trying to be Storm. Storm wasn't trying to be Cyclops. So as you start to really own your power, really own it, not only are you going to achieve incredible things and bring your gifts truly to life in a powerful way, but you're also, as Marianne Williamson said, as we shine our own light, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. You're going to give others the permission to also shine their light. So principle 1, first and foremost, be you, rooted in self-love. Own who you are, unapologetically. Second one, be courageous. That's my beautiful mom right there. That's my girl. So, my love, I love her. So, courage. Courage doesn't mean that there's no fear. Courage means that you step into fear regardless. Will Smith said all the greatest gifts that God has for us are on the other side of fear. So I remember my first year at community college, I had this counselor named Mr. Walker. And at that time, I was training, and I found this field called positive psychology through one of my mentors. And I started researching it, and I found that there was this program at the University of Pennsylvania, and I was going to get into it. So I went to Mr. Walker in his counseling office, and I was like, Mr. Walker, I have this goal, I have this dream that I really want to go to the University of Pennsylvania. It'll be a game changer. I'll be the first one out of my family to ever go to the Ivy Leagues, and I know that I can get in. I know I believe it. What do you think? And he looks at me, and he goes, you know, you were a high school dropout, right? And you know that chances you getting in are next to nothing. It's for valedictorians and people who, you know, have done well in school. But over here we have this other associate's degree where you'll get a government job and you'll get benefits and 40 hours a week. And I think that would probably be the best path that you go for. And I remember my heart just broke because I looked up to this guy and I already took myself from that point of being at the bus stop to that point right there. And this guy was an ex-football player from Michigan, so he would always talk about living his dreams, but then he was telling me that my dreams were unrealistic. And so I left that office that day, and I remember there was tears in my eyes. But once again, if I made it from the streets all the way to that point, how was I gonna let that stop me? So I decided I was gonna do whatever I could to get into the University of Pennsylvania. So I spent 2 years sitting in a Starbucks, working on one application. When my friends were out partying, when my friends were out kicking it, when my friends were out hanging out with girls, I was focused on the application, and I got in. 2 years on one application. Yeah. And became the first to break the trend of this cycle of poverty that they say takes 3 generations to really break down. Ended up graduating and changing my life. It takes courage to truly go after your goals. It takes courage to step forward even when people say no. It takes courage to truly bring our gifts to life. And I promise you this, the more you step into that space of fear, boldly, acknowledging the fear is there, but still allowing it to uplift you, change you, allowing your gifts to unfold in that space of courage, of stepping into fear, magic will start to happen. Number 3, be committed. These stairs right here are in Cusco, Peru. So every year I do this program called Warrior Retreats. It's a 12-day immersive rite of passage experience deep in the heart of Cusco. Revolves around humanitarian work, revolves around adventure, tribe, connecting workshops. And one of my favorite things to do in Peru is to hit these stairs. I'm a workout head. And these things are incredible. One, Cusco is at 12,000 feet altitude, so you're already, like, heart is beating out of your chest. These go from the center city all the way up to the Cristo Blanco statue. So it's about a half mile of stairs. And so every year I go down there, I do 2 or 3. But there was this one day I went down there, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do 5 today. And not only am I gonna do 5, I'm gonna live stream it on Facebook just to show everybody how great I am. So yeah, it was fun. So, lace up my Nikes, put on my tights, put on my Beats, hit 1, feeling good. Number 2, still feeling pretty good. Number 3, my legs start burning. Number 4, my fingers start going numb, and then this little voice pops up and it's like, Branden, you really want to do 4? You really want to do 5? Like, most people don't even do 1. And I'm like, nah, this is what I said I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna live stream that once I get to the top. And the little voice was like, you know what? That restaurant by your house sounds much better than getting a 5th one. And there's not even a gold medal up there for you to, grab. Nobody's gonna give you anything. So I got up to the 4th one, and I was about to go down for the 5th, and I decided, you know what? Most people don't even do 1 at 12,000 feet altitude. I'm going to do. Later that night, about 11 o'clock at night, this thought came over me. And it was this crazy download. And it said to me that real success happens on the 5th stair. So a lot of people are all in for their goals. A lot of people can get to the burn. As Muhammad Ali said, he didn't start counting his sit-ups until it started burning, because it didn't matter until then. It was everything after the burn that counted. So a lot of people are all in, but not everybody's all in on all in. And this download that came to me that night was like, if I really want to take myself to another level, if I really want to take my relationships to another level, if I really want to take my life to another level, I can't just be all in. I have to be all in on all in. So I went out the next day, same thing, laced up my shoes, got my tights on, got my Beats headphones on, hit the first one, feeling good. Second one, cool. Third one, legs start giving out. 4th one, start feeling little tingly feelings all through my fingers, eyes going cross-eyed, feeling really off my rocker. But in my mind, I had crystal clear thought. Got up to the top, went down to the 5th. And this is the only time in my life that I've started crying as I'm pushing through a workout. Legs started shutting down, fingers completely numb, heart beating out of my chest, and stair by stair by stair by stair, I climbed to the top. And I got to the top, and there was nobody to congratulate me. There was no successful ribbon waiting for me to be cut. There was nothing there other than me versus me, and it was one of the most beautiful experiences of my life because I won in myself. I pushed a bar inside me to another level. All in on all in. When you can be all in on all in for your goals, you're gonna bring magic to life. And only you know if you are there. That's the crazy thing. As a trainer, I could get somebody to that burn, but only they know if they are giving it everything. So be committed. Whatever you do, truly leave it all on the table. Be grateful. It's my little guy, Riley. So, to be here together in Vancouver, we are the 1% of the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. We are blessed beyond imagination. Not only are we blessed at this place and time, but our parents didn't have the opportunities that we have. Our grandparents definitely didn't have the opportunities we have. We are blessed to be alive at this time in history. Right now, today, 100,000 people will take their last breath. So if you're able to breathe, if you're able to inhale and exhale right now, you have something to be grateful for. I didn't really start understanding the beauty of gratitude until I started traveling. Part of the Warrior Retreats program is we go into the hospitals and we work hands-on with terminally ill kids. And every year, one or two of these kids absolutely captures our hearts. So this is my guy, Riley. He had cystic fibrosis of the lungs. And in Peru, it's not like the hospitals in America or Canada, where you go in and there's Disney on the walls and they have Nickelodeon and then the Make-A-Wish Foundation comes and grants their wishes. Down there, the kids are oftentimes left in cold, damp rooms. And their parents, because they don't have the money, they leave the kids there. So the kids often die alone with the nurses being their parents. So when I met Riley, he had that same smile on his face, and he was so enthusiastic and so beautiful and so profound and smiled, and he only had 6 weeks left to live. And it really taught me to be grateful. Gratitude is the access point to abundance. When you can truly start to live from a place of gratitude and from a place of acknowledging those blessings, magic starts to come to life. That's how we pay homage to everybody who's laid it down for us. That's how we pay homage for the blessed position that we're in. One of my dear professors, Dr. Martin Seligman of the University of Pennsylvania, created the 3 blessings exercise, and he found that if you every day wake up and write down 3 things you're grateful for, your happiness and well-being will exponentially increase over time. So there's empirical research behind this gratitude practice. Last but not least, be love. Be love. Love is not weak. Love is not cliche. The greats stood for love. Muhammad Ali's and Maya Angelou's and Mother Teresa's. Not only did they stand for love, they really died for love. And that's what the world needs at this time. Right now I'm looking at some of the brightest individuals in the world, and each one of us has an opportunity to truly uplift the whole, to truly change this world. 100 years from now, the chances are of any of us being remembered is slim to none. Think back to 100 years ago. They were the same situation. There were celebrities, there were sports stars, there were politicians, and I can't remember one of them, maybe Tesla and Einstein. So the truth is we're all going to be forgotten in this day and age where we're all trying to be remembered through social media and all that. We'll all be forgotten. So what matters? Well, I love the quote by the great and late Maya Angelou where she says, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Love is an invisible frequency, an invisible currency and a frequency. And when we truly touch others, that's how our legacy, our vibration reverberates through time and space. So it's all about truly just reaching out and touching that next person. That's how we shift the entire situation. That's how we shift the entire equation. There's a very thin line. Listen, check this out. There's a very thin line between superheroes and supervillains. Very thin line. Superheroes use their powers to serve others. Supervillains use their powers for themselves. And it's an internal battle. But every day, when you wake up and your feet hit the floor, you gotta ask yourself, what side are you standing on? So, it's truly an honor to be here. 5 principles. Own your power. Own your truth. Own your light. Be courageous. Step into the face of fear. That's how your greatest gifts, your highest expression will be brought to life. Be committed. Don't just be all in. Can I get you all to say it real quick? All in on all in?
All in on all in.
All in on all in. Be grateful. We are blessed. And the more you tap into that frequency of gratitude, the more magic's going to come to life. And most importantly, be love. Share it, share it, share it, share it. Much respect, y'all. Thank you for having me.